Hello, I'm David Harper with the BBC News. Members of the Colombian Armed Forces have for the first time pleaded guilty to crimes against humanity over the deaths of nearly 250 civilians. The men admitted carrying out 2 massacres in separate regions of the country about 15 years ago. Leonardo Rocha reports.
21 soldiers, including a general and 1 civilian, have told a special Peace and Reconciliation Tribunal that they falsely identified the victims as members of the FARC rebel group. By doing so, they met individual quotas set by the army for killing rebels in combat and qualified for promotions and other perks. The Peace Tribunal was created following a historic peace agreement that put an end to the conflict. The 22 men will be given non-custodial sentences in exchange for full disclosure.
President Biden has acknowledged that inflation is affecting people's lives in the United States, where the annual rate announced today is at a 4-decade high. Prices rose by 6.8% in November compared with the same month last year. More detail from Samira Hussein in New York.
There's the continuing supply chain disruptions that you're experiencing basically all around the world. It's getting more expensive and it's more difficult to get goods moving around the world. So that's one part of it. But if you look at consumer demand here in the United States, it's still really high. It means people still want things. And that, coupled with the increase in housing costs, that has all come together at once, this kind of trifecta. And that's really why you're seeing that inflation has really shot up in the last month.
The United States has placed financial sanctions on a Chinese software company and 2 political leaders in the Xinjiang region over the persecution of the Uyghur population, something China denies. The US also targeted Myanmar and other countries, as Aleem Makboul reports from Washington.
The sanctions announced by the US Department of the Treasury include the first new punitive measures imposed on North Korea during the Biden administration, targeting Pyongyang's prosecutor's office. They also include sanctions against individuals associated with a police unit in Bangladesh accused of extrajudicial killings and disappearances, and with the military in Myanmar. And the Treasury placed an investment ban on the Chinese artificial intelligence company SenseTime, accusing it of developing facial recognition technology that focused on identifying ethnic Uyghurs.
A court in Brazil has convicted 4 people over the deaths of more than 240 clubgoers in a fire 8 years ago. The blaze started when members of a band that was performing at the Kiss nightclub in Santa Maria lit flares which set lights to the ceiling. The 2 owners of the club and 2 band members were found guilty of manslaughter. They were given jail sentences of between 18 and 22 years. World news from the BBC. Prosecutors at the sex abuse trial of Ghislaine Maxwell in New York arrested their case after a 4th woman testified that the British socialite groomed her for sexual activity with the late convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The hearing resumes next Thursday. The judge has ruled that the sexual encounters described by the 4th accuser were not illegal because she was aged 16 at the time, above the age of consent. Ms. Maxwell has denied all the charges against her. There's been a huge explosion at a Palestinian camp in the city of Tyre in southern Lebanon. State media say an ammunition depot belonging to the Palestinian militant group Hamas in the city exploded. They say a number of people have been killed and wounded. The parliament in the majority ethnic Serb part of Bosnia has passed a motion calling for the withdrawal of the region, Republika Srpska, from a number of national institutions. More detail from Guy Delaunay.
Bosnia's senior ethnic Serb politician Milorad Dodik has followed through on his threat to start a process that's been compared to secession in all but name. The Republika Srpska parliament called on the regional government to prepare legislation within a 6-month period. That would result in the majority ethnic Serb region's withdrawal from national taxation, judicial and defence bodies. The 6-month period leaves plenty of room for negotiation and climb downs, but the stakes are high. Bosnia's ethnic Croat presidency member Željko Komšić has called on prosecutors to charge Mr. Dodik with undermining peace and stability in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
The American singer and guitarist Michael Nesmith from the 60s pop group The Monkees has died aged 78. The group rose to fame with a string of hit songs and starred in their own popular TV sitcom. Nesmith was known for his trademark green woolly hat and strong Texas drawl. The star penned songs like Mary Mary and The Girl I Knew Somewhere. BBC News.